Today we're going to talk about finding the zeros of an equation. So when we have something like this where it says x minus 7 times x plus 3 equals 0, what we're going to do is we're going to look at what would make this 0. And in that case, let's just start with this side. What would make this 0? Well, if x was 7, that would make this side 0. Well, what's 0 times x plus 3? That's just 0. Doesn't matter what's in there. And then if I look at this side, we have x plus 3. Well, what would make x plus 3 equal to 0? That would be negative 3. If I put in negative 3, it makes 0. And then I have x minus 7 times 0. Well, that's going to equal 0. It doesn't matter what goes on in that other side. So our two solutions would be negative 3 and 7. How we're going to type that is we're going to use, well, type or write. You would write it in little brackets, and we would put them in order from least to greatest, so negative 3 and 7. If we had another parentheses in there, let's say we had a 2x minus 1. Then there would be a third solution, and we would do 2x minus 1 equals 0. What would x have to be? Well, x would have to be 1/2. So then we would write negative 3, 1/2, and 7. Those would be the three solutions to that equation. If we wanted to write these out in a way that might make more sense, what we could think about is that we want either x minus 7 to equal 0 or x plus 3 to equal 0. So we could write it like x minus 7 equals 0 or x plus 3 equals 0. When we split it up like that, that might make a little more sense, where then x can equal 7 or x can equal negative 3. Sometimes we may run into something that looks like this. And what we can do is we can factor it to look kind of like the other example problems that we were doing to find the zeros. How we're going to do that for now is we're going to look at this and we're going to think, what is the greatest common factor that these have? Well, we have 4 times x, and we have 12 times x. They both have a 4 in common, and they both have an x in common. So I'm going to pull out 4x, and that's going to leave just an x on that first one. And on the second one, it's just going to leave 3. Because we're taking out the x and we're taking out 4 from 12. We're dividing 4 out. And we can check and make sure that works by distributing back in 4x squared plus 12x. That does indeed work. Then what we can do now is just like on the other problems, what would make 4x equal to 0? Well, that would be 0. Or what would make x plus 3 equal to 0? That would be negative 3. And I could write them in my brackets of x is negative 3 or 0. And then the last case that we're going to look at is when we have something like this. So x times x minus 4 plus 7 times x minus 4 equals 0. We're going to factor in this case too, and we're going to look at what do these terms have in common. I'm talking about terms in this case, like this is one piece and this is one piece. Well, what do those two things have in common? They have this x minus 4 in common. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out the x minus 4. And what does that leave in each piece? That leaves an x and that leaves a 7. Then I can think of the zeros. So what makes x minus 4 equal to 0? 4. What makes x plus 7 equal to 0? Negative 7. So my solutions are negative 7 and 4.